Hello, Year 1 students. Welcome back to Remote Learning for TTC through radio lessons. As usual, my name is Teacher Emma, and I'll be taking you through today's lesson again. Yes, you are all aware due to COVID-19, we're all at home, but through Rwanda Education Board in partnership with the World Bank and other partners, they've been supporting remote learning for all levels of education, including TTC. So in this lesson, we shall explore the meaning of the term competence, identify basic and generic competences in the Rwandan curriculum, and distinguish them as well. This lesson is under Unit 5 of Year 1 syllabus, entitled Competence-Based Curriculum. We will define the term competence, highlight basic and generic competences in CBC, and detect the difference among them. My dear friends, as usual, I want to encourage you to have a pen and a notebook. And please ensure that you are in an environment that is free from disruption and noise. Very good. Okay, as usual, and I guess you are all ready for the lesson. Let me remind you this, that as a teacher to be, you should have lots of tools in your toolbox that will help you to make the teaching learning process enjoyable. That is why I always give you the songs, the rhymes, and each and everything. Do you remember Row, Row Your Boat? Okay, let me remind you that and let's sing that. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merry, 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 life is but a dream. Let me repeat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merry, 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 life is but a dream. Aha. Can you note that one down? Those are some of the energizers that will help you to really have a motivated class. Are we together, friends? Very good. Dear student teachers, with your notebook and a pen, I want you to write your reflection on the following situation. As a school head, you need to hire a primary teacher. The district requests you to give them a profile of the teacher you would wish to have in your school. On a piece of paper, describe the best primary teacher you need. You have a few seconds to write down what is the profile of such a teacher that you need to hire. Okay? I hope you are doing well. Yes? Okay, student teachers. I hope all of you, or you have come up with of course, this is a teacher who should be knowledgeable, should be having skills, and he should be able to have good values that shape a good teacher. Not so. Knowledge, skills, and values. What are those? My dear friends, those are competences. Dear student teachers, take your pen again and write what you understand by the term competence. Yes? Great. Thank you for your time, dear students. The term competence means the ability to perform a particular task successfully, resulting from having gained an appropriate combination of knowledge, skills, and attitude. Let me repeat this. Please take note of this. The term competence means the ability to perform a particular task successfully, resulting from having gained an appropriate combination of knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes. Good. My dear students, I hope now you understand the term competence is. Okay. In competence-based curriculum, we have basic and generic competences. Let us start with basic competences. My dear friends, what are basic competences? I want you to think. If someone talks of basic competences, what comes into your mind as a teacher to be? Basic competences, these are essential competences highlighted in the national policy documents. Their descriptors give an orientation about priority subjects to be taught and the kind of learner we envisage or we hope to see at the end of a learning cycle. So, here are the examples of the basic competences. So, literacy or literacy competences. Is a child able to read? Numeracy competences. Is a child able to count numbers and solve? ICT. Hey, now ICT comes in. It's one of the basic competences. And you know how Rwanda is really doing well in terms of promoting ICT in schools and in each and every day-to-day life. 2, there's also national identity. That's a basic competence. Very important. Who are you? Why are you called a Rwandan? So child should be able, at the end of a learning cycle, appreciate being a Rwandan. We're talking of entrepreneurship and business development. And across the basic education curriculum, these are some of the cross-cutting issues that I've embedded in, but they are basic competences. We talk of science and technology and pedagogical competence for student teachers only. My dear students, for you to clearly understand basic competences, let me read a statement and you write down a basic competence linked to the read statement. Are you ready? Let's begin. Facilitates different sessions or lessons using a well-selected active methods, techniques, and strategies. Facilitates different sessions and lessons using selected active methods, techniques, and strategies. Which basic competence is that? And now this applies to you as a student teacher. You remember, I talked of pedagogical competence. Pedagogically, if you are able to select and use a method, technique, or a strategy, you have already gained a pedagogical competence. You are able to instruct. Number 2, using and experimenting with a range of objects and tools of science and technology and drawing appropriate conclusions. Interesting. What is that? Of course, that is science and technology. Number 3, taking risks in business ventures and other initiatives. What do you think about that? Of course, that is entrepreneurship and business development. Showing national awareness as a strong sense of belongingness and patriotism. What is that? My dear friends, that is citizenship and national identity. Accessing, retrieving, and exchanging information via internet or cell phones. What is that? ICT. Information Communication Technology. Manipulating numbers, mathematical symbols, quantities, shapes, figures to accomplish a task involving calculations, measurement, and estimations. What is that? Yes, that is numeracy. Expressing ideas messages, events through writing legible texts in a good handwriting with correctly spelled words. What is that, my friends? That is literacy. So these are basic competences. I want you really to get this right. Now that we understand the basic competences in competence-based curriculum, let us have a look at generic competences. What do you understand when I say generic competences? Generic competences apply across the curriculum and can be developed in all subjects. I want you to get me correctly. Generic competences apply across the curriculum and can be developed in all subjects. They are transferable and applicable to a range of situations, including employment, and it is through these competences that learners develop their higher order thinking and deepening their learning. Great. What are these generic competences that we are talking about? 1. Critical thinking. What is critical thinking? We will see as we discuss. Creativity and innovation. Research and problem solving. Communication. Cooperation. Interpersonal management and life skills. And lifelong learning. Are we together, my friends? Let me repeat. I want you to write them down. We have critical thinking, creativity and innovation, research and problem solving, communication, cooperation, interpersonal management and life skills, lifelong learning. My dear students, let us try again and see if we understand generic competences. I am going to be reading a statement, and it is up to you to jot down on your paper the kind of a generic competence it would be. I will tell you my responses for you to compare with what you have written down. Are we ready to start? Very good. Wonderful students. Think imaginatively and evaluate ideas in a meaningful way before arriving at a conclusion. What is that? If I say, students, I want you to think imaginatively and evaluate the idea in a meaningful way before arriving at a conclusion. Okay? Number 2, use imagination beyond knowledge provided to generate new ideas to enrich learning. What is the answer? Number 3, be resourceful in finding answers to questions and solutions to problems. What is the answer? Number 4, conveying confidently and effectively information and ideas through speaking and writing and other forms of communication using correct language structures and relevant vocabulary in a range of social and cultural context. Aha, if you listened carefully, the answer is even what in some of the words I said. Number 5, respecting others' rights, views, and feelings. Having positive, ethical, and moral attitudes with social acceptable behavior. What is the answer? Number 6, exploiting all available opportunities to improve on knowledge and skills. Now, let's go back to our answers and check what we have written down. Are we together, my dear students? Wonderful. Number 1. Do you have your answer as critical thinking? Because we are being asked to think imaginatively and evaluate ideas in a meaningful way before arriving at a conclusion. That is critical thinking. Remember, my friends, we are looking at generic competences. Number 2 was use imagination beyond knowledge provided to generate ideas to enrich learning. Of course, the answer is creativity and imagination. Be resourceful in finding answers to questions and solutions to problems. Yes. The answer is research and problem solving. Number 4 was conveying confidently and effectively information and ideas through speaking, writing, and other forms of communication using correct language structures and relevant vocabulary. And the answer is communication. Respecting others' rights, views, and feelings. Having positive ethical and moral attitude with social acceptable behavior. So our answer was cooperation, interpersonal management, and life skills. And finally, exploiting all available opportunities to improve on knowledge and skills. And the answer is lifelong learning. Now, my dear students, as we come to the end of our lesson, let us review some of the key points that we learned about competences. We have learned and we have defined a competence as the ability to perform a particular task successfully, resulting from having gained an appropriate combination of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Number 2, we looked at basic competences. Are a priority competences for all learners that are developed into subject content as well as developed across the subjects. So, and we saw the basic competences are literacy, numeracy, ICT, citizenship and national identity, entrepreneurship and business development. But we also looked at generic competences. And generic competences, what do we mean? We looked at critical thinking, we looked at creativity and innovation, we looked at research and problem solving, we also looked at communication, cooperation, interpersonal management and life skills, and we also looked at lifelong learning. Dear students, one would be asking a question: how do I embed all this in my day-to-day teaching? Great. So as a teacher, how would you cater for these generic competences that we have seen that are very important? Because the moment we help students or learners develop the generic competences, they will grow up good critical thinkers, they will grow up very patriotic Rwandans, they will grow up very creative, they will grow up as problem solvers, they will be able to communicate, they will be able to cooperate, they will be able to, improve on their interpersonal skills. They should be able to relate with one another, but also they should be able to be lifelong learners. So how do I cater for all that in my day-to-day teaching? So dear students, teachers to be, what we need to really bear into mind is that in our day-to-day teaching, as we plan, we must make sure that in our day-to-day lesson planning, as we plan the activities, let's think about to what extent is this activity going to be developing critical thinking in my students? How is it going to be developing creativity and innovation? How are the task I'm going to give them, how is it going to be challenging them to be problem solvers? Again, have we created an activity that allows communication, that allows discussion, that arouses students to be able to communicate with one another, but also communicate with you? Again, is the activity that I'm going to plan with my students, will it be an activity that will involve them to work together? Are we together, friends? And again, is it an activity that is promoting lifelong learning? So, you all know, or maybe you have learned, or you are yet to learn about Broome's taxonomy. So with Broome's taxonomy, we get to see the order of questions. And in most cases, as we work with students, we always need, of course, I love Broome's taxonomy. It starts from simple, and then progressively, we are able to now present students to tougher situations that require high-order thinking. So when you are planning and preparing your lessons, you must make sure that your questions, your questioning technique should be catering for both high and low-order thinking skills. So as you are planning and preparing your lessons, we should not only have list, give, we need to ask them why, explain, demonstrate, discuss, experiment, because all these, the moment we really present students with a variety or differentiated activities, learners will be able now to develop their generic competences. And so, that said, we are always encouraged to use open-ended questions. Open-ended questions will always give an opportunity for learners to be able to think creatively. Are we together, friends? So that is okay. So we need to make sure that we really consider a mix. Again, don't only put in high-order thinking questions. You have to mix, because the same way, you don't have only gifted students. So we have to really strike a balance between the high-order thinking questions and the low ones. So they should start from known to unknown, but let us always challenge our students to be able to develop these skills. Now, as we come to the end of my lesson and our lesson, since you have been very good participants, wherever you are, that one I'm very sure, I'm going to give you a homework assignment so that this will help you have a deep understanding or best of what we have learned. And I would like you to try and set a learning activity in any topic from any subject of your choice. And I want you to describe basic and generic competences embedded in that activity. Are we together, my friends? Have you gotten the assignment? Think of an activity in a subject of your choice and highlight or describe the basic and generic competences that are in that activity. Again, I want to remind you, and I said it even at the very beginning, that whenever we do these lessons, always make sure that you create more, or you get time to do more research on these very topics. Be at the time when you go back to college, but those who have got access to ICT materials or gadgets like smartphones, please always do more research about the topics that we are looking at, and this is going to be helping you further. Student teachers, tutors, and parents, thank you for your participation in this lesson. This lesson has been developed by Rwanda Education Board in collaboration with the World Bank and other partners. Please stay tuned to these radio lessons. Until next time, goodbye.